Hey Sharon, welcome back today.
Hi Mark.
Today we're talking about creating your plan B.
Okay, so what should my intentions or concerns be if I want to ensure that in my passing everything is dealt with as per my wishes?
Sure. It sometimes happens that things don't go according to plan. People don't die in order, for example, and when you pass, the value of your estate may not be what you wanted it to be to provide all the benefits you wanted for your beneficiaries. So I guess the question is, if your estate plan, if something different to what you're expecting to happen happened, what is your plan B?
So how does this bear any relevance or importance?
Well, it's important, Sharon, because in life we have an expectation, but if things don't happen the way we're expecting them to happen, then we need to have an alternative plan in place. And it's like everything in life. If plan A doesn't work, we're on to plan B. So we want to make sure that you have a plan B, because at the end of the day, people get their estate plan sorted on the basis that they're going to die in this order. Dad will die, then mum will die, then the kids will die. And look, really sadly, and it is a terrible time, children may pass first, your spouse may go before you, and that can really throw your plan that you've got in place into total disarray. So that's why it's so important to have a plan B.
So what important factors should be considered on this issue?
Okay, well, some of these are already talked about, but let's just go through them. Point one is people don't always die in the expected order, so you need to make sure you've got a contingency in place if that happens. For example, you might have a transition plan for your business, and if your son's working in the business and he passes before you do, well, how are you going to change that around? Point two is there may be an economic correction, which means that your plan's not going to be totally funded, for example. So all the things that you want for your family, if we're going through a global financial crisis, then it mightn't be the time to sell assets that you needed to sell to allow certain opportunities for some of your beneficiaries. Third point is your identified successor of your business may be with you in the car accident. So you might have structured this beautiful plan in regard to how your business was going to pass from you onto either one of your children or to your business partner or whatever. But what if they're in the same car as you? Okay, so what's your plan B for your family then? And all of a sudden, because if that happened, all of a sudden your family would be in disarray. Point four is your plan may not have sufficient funds to make sure that promises for education and so on are completed as well. So what are you going to do about that? Have you thought about the Legacy Maximiser, which is another tool that we use as part of our process? And the fifth point is, just in case people change their mind, beneficiaries and your executors, you need a plan B there. So if you've had a conversation with your family and they've said, yep, this is kind of what we'd like to do, we'd like to take over the farm or the business or whatever, and then between that point in time and when you pass, they've changed their mind and gone off and done something else, or your executors have died, whatever, what have you got as a reserve plan? Have you got reserve executors? Are you having a regular conversation with people to make sure that even your beneficiaries aren't going to change their mind between when you put this plan in place and when something happens to you? And I guess that in itself is a great reason why you need to update this very regularly.
So what do you recommend as a solution to this potential problem?
Well, Sharon, that's once again a good question, but also make sure you advise your executors and your board of advice what alternative plans are. So provide some flexibility in your estate plans for your executors. Give them the power of flexibility as they're working their way through your estate. Make sure they know what your plan B is, even if you've just had the conversation with them, but make sure the documents in your estate allow the flexibility for people to be able to flow along with changes in outcomes.
And what would be the alternative outcomes if we make or if we don't make a plan B?
Well, I'd hate to think. But I mean, Sharon, in its simplest form, if you don't have a plan B and something fundamental changes, as we've already discussed, I mean, it's just going to be a disaster. One, if you don't have enough money, if the people you thought were going to take over your business aren't going to take it over, and so on. I mean, you can just create, there's just a whole string of things that can go wrong. And the alternative to that is if you have your plan B and you have some flexibility, well, it just allows your executives to do some sidestepping and swerving, and you can still allow them to maybe defer sale of certain assets until economic conditions have changed, or give them the right to be able to go out and seek other people to come in and take over your business or sell it or whatever it is. It's all about giving flexibility, but once again, the transformation between having a plan B and not planning B is like night and day. And I mean, it's up to you, but I'd rather give my family and my executives more flexibility to cover all contingencies.
Get your plan B done.
That's right, plan B.
Thank you, Mark.
Thanks, Sharon.